Frivolous family, how are you? It has been a minute. It is I, Miss Isla Moon, back with another video. I wanted to stop in really quick today and have a quick conversation with you guys. First, let me just say I've been missing. I know. I tried to record like 3 separate videos. The first 2 I just couldn't get it together. And the third one I went the whole shebang and it ain't have no sound. And so I took that as maybe that wasn't something that needed to be put out. But it was in relation to the astrological energies of like the new moon that we just went through and things of that nature. And they kind of been sitting me down with the astrology a little bit because that's not what they want me to talk about. And even though it's helpful as supportive content, like from a supportive standpoint, if we're speaking of a certain energy and that plays into that, it's fine. But in general, I'm realizing, well, I kind of already knew it, that right now that's not what they say, my ministry. Anyway, so I wanted to come on here really quickly and talk about the importance of knowing your energy and how to protect it. And as always, when I have these insights, this normally sparked from a specific conversation that I had with someone. And then what will happen is I'll go on about my way. I'll go in my house, and as I move along my day, I'll start to just get information about it, right? Or just deeper insight. So if you all will bear with me, I have a really quick story. I always have a story. And I'm not going to go too far into the story because it's not really my story. It's just to give you some context of the information, right? So I have someone that I ran into. I don't know her extremely well, but she lives in my neighborhood and we have a really good rapport. So I hadn't seen her in a while, and so when I saw her, we stopped and had a conversation, and she was talking to me about some issues she was having with a neighbor. Now, the last time I saw her, she was speaking about this issue, or shall I say, an issue with the same neighbor. And what has happened, I guess, is it's kind of brewed and boiled over to a point where like, I ain't gonna even tell y'all the point, but it's brewed over, and it's gotten pretty nasty between them, right? And so as she's talking and she's speaking in reference to who she used to be and how she used to go and how much growth she has, which I do believe is absolutely 100% true. She spoke about how this situation triggered her, really almost backwards, you know what I mean? Because of the fact that it was directly correlated to her safe haven, which is her home. You know what I mean? And like when you have problems and the vicinity right there in your home, it does. Like it causes a lot of dis-ease, right? Because who the hell can be comfortable when you beefing with your neighbor? You know what I mean? And so I said to her, well, what's the remedy? How do we fix it? And, you know, she went on to, talk about how she's planning to move. But in the meantime, in between time, basically, look, it is what it is. And I get it. And like from hearing what it was, I got it even more. I definitely get it. But what it brought me to a place of was why it's so important to understand who you are, where your domain lies and what you have dominion over, and when the difference between fighting a physical war and a spiritual war, right? And the reason being is because this particular person that she's having this rift with, I've seen her have rifts with other people, right? And I think sometimes when you don't know who you are, and I'm not talking about just in this physical plane. Yes, I can say, oh, well, I'm a black woman. Yeah, I can say a black, but that is just so 3D, right? I'm so much more than just, oh, a black woman. Not downplaying the black woman, but I'm much more than that. On the spiritual realm, I'm so much more than that, right? And I think the danger in not knowing who we are is that we can allow ourselves, number one, to be used, right? You know, you hear the saying all the time, you know, if you don't use the energy will use you, right? Or some energy will use you. If you're not aware fully of who you are and how to protect your auric field so that it cannot be penetrated, you know, it leaves you open to other things, right? And so I was just thinking, like, after I had the conversation with her, and I told her when we finished the conversation, I said, you know what? And I didn't even like really let her go too far because I'm a solution-oriented person. So, like, I prefer to deal with, can we find a solution? So I said, well, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I am going to go in my home. I'm going to anoint a candle for you. And I'm going to light a candle for you all. You know what I mean? And I was like, my highest intention is that you all can resolve this. It works itself out peacefully in a way where no one else has to get hurt or, like, no casualties of war, right? And so, and I did that. But when I went in the house, this has been a really busy weekend for me. I had 2 shows this weekend. I feel like Saturday I took an energetic hit because of the environment I was in and the amount of people I was around. And so then yesterday was better because it was the venue was outside, but I still hadn't fully offloaded the energy from Saturday, right? So my team got me up like 3 o'clock this morning. It's probably like 2:30, and told me to go run a bath. So I went and ran me a bath, and I put all my stuff in my bath, and I set my intention for my bath, and I got in the bath. And as I got in the bath, like, I could feel the energy falling off of me. And this is what I mean, right? I could feel the energy falling off of me. And in that moment, and I'm going to tie this back in that moment, I had a full understanding of just how much protection I had around me and how the energy hit, but it stopped. It didn't get to penetrate. So now it was time for me to dump it. You know what I mean? And I couldn't figure out Saturday, and I know I'm going around it, but I'm going to bring it back, y'all. I couldn't figure out Saturday, like, why the energy was so weird to me in the space that I was in. You know what I mean? I was like, well, that was a weird energy, you know. And I had one of my homegirls with me. I asked her too, and she was like, no, it definitely was weird. You know what I mean? Something was off. And then I did have to think about also, you know, the new moon was Saturday night. And it was squared that Neptune. So being in a place where people are indulging, you know, it just was an interesting energy. And I was very limited with who I interacted with. And then, like, that moment last night allowed me to understand why. I was being fully protected and covered. But then everything that had made it to me and stopped and didn't get to penetrate, I needed to drop it off of my, you know, get it, like, I needed to dissolve it. Neptune, Pisces, anyway. I needed to dissolve it and get in the water and allow it to fall off me, so that it didn't continue to be heavy in my auric field. Because my auric field, my team, the energy did a good job of protecting me from all that I had come in contact with. Now, to bring that back around to um, to the person I was talking to. After speaking with her and after taking my bath, I remembered. And I said, that building that they live in, I had read an article some years ago, and I said, that building has a history of feuding neighbors. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, a neighbor in that building shot and killed another neighbor. Right? Listen, this is what I'm talking about. Understanding what you're dealing with. So you have this one person who indulges and is a little bit maybe less aware, and in certain instances allows herself to be used by certain energies. She has no idea, and this happens to a lot of people, have no idea why they're doing it. You can't even figure out why you're acting like that, right? And it's because you're not clear on who you are, you're not protecting yourself, and you're allowing other energies to penetrate. And next thing you know, you are the agent of chaos and confusion. And that's her. You know, in this instant, being an agent of chaos and confusion, not understanding that she's being used by something outside of herself, right? And then in the meantime, you have this other person who has been trying to do the work, but there's a lack of understanding on what's her battle and what's not. So you're ready to fight a battle on the physical plane. It's not a physical battle. Look, when you know who you are and you understand where your lines stops and your teams begin, or your network, or whatever you want to call them, then certain things you're not going to indulge in. And I say that because if you're here, you have a job to do, right? You got too much to lose. I'm sitting here talking to you. You're telling me about how you have done so much and what you've come from, and I wholeheartedly believe and connect with that, because I felt like that was really coming from a place of truth, right? But in the same sentence, you've allowed someone to kind of take you back. And your team really just needs you to keep going forward, because the more healing you do, the more patterning you break and stuff. Like, it's not just here in the physical realm. When you heal generations backward and forward. You correct DNA. You dissolve ancestral wounding, so the generations that come after you don't have to go through some of the things that you've had to go through, because those things are taken care of in the DNA line, right? And so I said, when I see her again, I'm just going to give her, because in the moment I had so much going on that I did tell her I was going to light a candle for her, and I sincerely meant it, and I did it. You know what I mean? But also, I need her to understand that that battle that you're fighting is not one of a physical nature. And so when it turns into that, that's when you throw your hands up and you sit down and talk to your team. But let me tell you something else. But if we are diligent, because we know what type of time we're living in, right? If you are diligently protecting your auric field and making sure that you're doing your work. And so this is also, and look, this is a word for me too, because I was recently triggered by something and I took the low road. And I called my friends and I said, yep, I took the low road. Completely out of character. But it was a glimpse into what still needs more work, what needs to be healed, right? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this is what I feel like is most important out of all of this. We have to be diligent. Like, we're in a space now where defense is definitely not working. Offense is where it's at. So you need to be building up your energy, vibrating high, and keeping your auric field on lock. Making sure that there are no leaks and holes in your auric field for that energy to penetrate through, right? You want to be so protected that when a person look at you, they might think about it, but something in them say, not that one. You know what I mean? Not that one. Like they just automatically know. You know what I mean? So that you don't find yourself in these positions where, and I'm not, sometimes, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes things do happen. So I'm not negating that. I'm simply saying that we have to know who we are, what is for us on this physical to deal with, and when to hand over issues to our team to handle things that's on the spiritual front. And in the meantime, in between time, remembering to protect ourselves so we don't get pulled backwards. If you know you've done the work, you don't want someone pulling you back. You got too much to lose. And your team will handle that shit because they know you got too much. Like, they want you too far and you have a mission to complete. And they're invested in you completing your mission. Because when you complete your mission, you heal them. You heal future generations. Like I said, you correct DNA. Like, you heal subconscious conditioning, you know. And then the next task can come on. Like, they really are here to assist you in this realm. And certain things are for you to get your hands dirty. And a lot of times you don't, and this is what I tell people, and I know it's hard. Because I have friends, like, out of all my friends, I think I'm probably the most peaceful, right? And so I have friends who go hard. You know what I mean? And like, so I understood where she was coming from, because I had friends who have that same kind of energy signature. Like, nah, you're not going to play with me. And what I always tell them is that, like, a lot of times, oftentimes, you don't even have to do anything. When I tell you that all you have to do is sit back and you'll see it. You'll see it happen. You'll see it happening. I see it all the time. People do stuff to me and then, or try to do something, or try to shade me, or whatever you want to call it, right? Just not a pure intention. And it's almost instant. I'll see it, and I don't even want to see it. You know what I mean? I don't take any type of joy in seeing somebody go through something. Like, that's not cool. You know what I mean? But I see it all the time, and you'll find that, like, when you on your path and you doing your work and you got that strong connection with your team and you are moving forward and really evolving, you don't have to do anything at all. Not when it comes to somebody coming against you. The moment we involve ourselves, we get in the way. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're clear about what you can do in this physical realm, right? Ain't no use of putting yourself in a trick bag. Might as well move through it with the least amount of quote-unquote casualties, right? And so don't put yourself in a trick bag. Look, y'all, it is important to stay protected out here, because I'm telling you, these energies are using whoever is not aware of what the hell is going on. They just using them. Let them use you. I don't think that's what they meant. But y'all stay diligent, because this shit crazy. And I ain't gonna give it too much power, because for real, don't have no power. But that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. There is no power in that. You got the power. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'll be back with another video, y'all. Until next time, that's all I got. Peace. Like, share, subscribe, or not.